Satan, he can't come up with anything new. He has to work with what it is. I mean, God created everything, and so all he can do is distort what's already here. He has no capability of creating new stuff. So he just does his thing, messing stuff up. You know, well, we're going to talking about alcohol, and the biblical alcohol had its purpose. I remember reading give him a little wine for the stomach's sake, and remember another part reading that hard liquor was for, somebody lost some time, really going through a traumatic, so, and just a one-time thing. You just take it to get over whatever they're doing. And so, I was just reading just today or yesterday, anyway, last day or so, where Moses given the directions in Deuteronomy, and they mentioned bringing the fermented wine to the festivals, festival of weeks or whatever, bringing it to the time. So God had a purpose for alcohol. And so here comes Satan, and he does his thing. So I want to introduce alcohol to you as, like, you might not have ever thought of it, as a living creature, and entity, or whatever you call it. It's live. And so looking at it in this, just think about it in this sense, and there's this live guy has got about 4 ways. We'll go over them. And how does he get you started? Remember, your mom always, don't play with that kid. Stay away from so and so. And so when the young people get out and away from the parents, and it's like the alcohol they see, and it's like the kid that your mom wouldn't let you play with. Everybody's having a lot of fun with this, so they get to drinking, and that's the start of it. And the second thing about this living creature is a liar. He tells you you don't have to pay the consequences for your actions. You can drive a car, you're not drunk, and you can say this, you can say that. And he lures you into doing all kinds of things, making you believe that you won't have to suffer the consequences. You drank too much, and before you drank, you're not supposed to drive drunk, but I won't get caught. I remember one time there's Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. They were at a checkpoint, and it was a voluntary thing. I mean, the cars were going by, and here's the alcohol checkpoint. Every once in a while, they'd wave somebody in, and the mothers there observing this. And here comes this guy, pulls in voluntarily, and he's been drinking. He's over the limit. What's going on in his mind? He's being lied to. Oh, you'll be okay. So alcohol is the little kid that you weren't able to play with. They all go out and have a lot of fun, a lot of partying. And he's a liar. He just says you won't have to suffer the consequences of your action. And another thing he's like Novocaine to your brain. The brain does different functions. And the portion of your brain that cares, I'm not going to jump off the roof. I might break my leg. I care about my leg. I'm not going to jump off the roof. I love my wife and children. I've just had a hard day's work, and and I'm gonna go home and play with the kids and eat dinner. I care about them. And you were driving home. I was in construction. You got 3 or 4 guys with you, or just 2 or whatever, and that's living in the Lomita Village, and here's a bar. As you pull in, let's go in and shoot a game of pool, have a beer, and it only takes about 2 beers, and then the Novocaine goes to the portion of the brain that cares. See, when the guy's going home, he cares about his wife. He's going to pull in. That's his plan. Pull in, have a couple of beers while they shoot a game of pool, and then they're going home. And the 2 guys otherwise, they've been there an hour or whatever. It's time to go. But this guy, me or whoever, that the portion of the brain that cares has been numbed. I'm having a beer here, and something might be said like, you better get home, your wife's going to kick your butt. Well, she's going to kick my butt anyway, so. But actually, it's impossible for him to care. The portion of his brain that cares has been numbed. This living guy, this creature, this living enmity it's lied to you, and now it's numbed your brain to where you cannot care about things you should be caring about. And next thing you know, the bar's closed. You go home. You spent your paycheck, or did something worse. Even went to another bar, and 2 o'clock they kick you out, and you don't have a car because you were with your buddies, or let's say you had the car, a different situation, and then you go sleep in the car somewhere, or go try to find some friends that are still awake, and you don't have to suffer the consequences. It lies to you all the time, and so here's this guy, he's got you. It's a living creature. I think of alcohol as being a living creature, and then how do you the thing about you go to the gas stations now, and you have to go, and every gas station's a liquor store, and the normal person walks in there, and he sees all that. There's enough liquor on there to keep everybody in a 2-mile radius drunk for a week, and he sees it in the background. It doesn't pay any attention to me. But the guy that has the tendency to drink alcohol, that's had this liar lying to him all this time, and it's like the bottles are shaking. It's like there's a genie in every bottle. Pick me, I'm old croak, or I'm sudden discomfort, and then they got these little teeny bottles right there. Well, I'll just get one of them little ones. And next thing you know, you're stopping again and getting a bigger one, because there's the genies that keep the as soon as you take the genie out of the bottle, he's got you. And so of course he's lying to you. You're gonna have a good time. And how does a person get away from this? For me it was like I finally well, imagine you got a glass here, and you pour the beer in it, and it got that layer of foam in the beer down here. Oh, by the way, Solomon said, "Look not upon the glass when it sparkles and gives off its savor. You drink it, you'll sway like the mast of a ship. Your friends will beat you, and you won't even feel it. And when you wake up, you say, 'Let's do it again.'" So the foam represents all the fun you've had. He's lying to you. Oh, let's go have a drink. We'll have a lot of fun. But the colored beer part underneath the foam, that's all of the, oh, I can't believe I did it again, and all the hangovers and the sick. I wasn't a daily drinker. I was a weekend drinker. But anyway, down below the foam is all the bad stuff. And the foam is just the memories of, You know, oh, this kid, let's go have some fun. Let's have a, that's all up there. And so for me, it was like, the foam's gone. And if I look at a beer, I don't see any fun involved. All I see is the heartaches and the hassle, So you reach a point where you see the truth. You never say never. You know, people, for years they know I don't drink, because I quit, 50 years ago, or 40 years, 1972, 68, 72, somewhere in there, way back then, I quit drinking. But, like never say never, but I don't look at a drink as anything appealing. To me, it would be, when people tell me, let's go have a beer, I say, or why don't you? I say, well, I couldn't stop, so I stopped starting. I can't stop, so I stopped starting. Because that's what it was, these people, once this live guy has got you, he's got you for the rest of the night. And you're going to drink until there's nothing left to drink. Or you get sick and pass out or whatever. So, they go to AA and all those, those are good programs. In fact, it was APOR that taught me about the numbing of the portion of the brain that cares. So to quit, for me to look at a drink is like, I don't see any fun at all in it. I see all of the heartaches and headaches. So there's no way. We go to all kinds of different functions, people retiring, and a big gigantic thing full of beer, and everybody's drinking down the beers, and after a few years, they quit asking me. For the last, I'm working with these same people for 30 years, some of them 40 years, some of them 44 years. And so they knew my past and they know my future, and they just know I don't drink. And when we go to a place, once in a while, the company will take you on an excursion to a brewery. And I remember the foreman would always get by me because he knows, give me your beer, But, just think of this now. Alcohol is a living creature. Satan in a bottle or whatever, but it's not just a beverage. They used to call it spirits in the old days. They didn't call it alcohol or whatever. They call it spirits. And that's what it is. It's a spirit. Alcohol is a spirit, and it will get you. So don't open the lid and let the spirit out. So have a sober life.